Hey losers, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. It is February. I am reading some books. Let me tell you all about them. First, I have an arc this month that I'd like to get to. This is The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kiste. Let me read you the synopsis. It says, the Velkwood vicinity was the topic of occult theorist tabloid one-hour documentaries and even some pseudoscientific investigations as the block of homes disappeared behind a near impenetrable veil that only 3 survivors could enter, and only 1 in the past 20 years until now. Delilah Velkwood has avoided anything to do with the tragedy that took her mother and 8-year-old sister, drifting from one job to another, never settling anywhere or with anyone, feeling as trapped by her past as if she was still there in the small town she so desperately wanted to escape from. When a new researcher tracks her down and offers to pay her to come back to enter the vicinity, Talitha? I'm gonna say Talitha because that sounds almost like Tabitha. Talitha claims that she's just doing it for the money. Of all the crackpot theories over the years, no one has discovered what happened the night Talitha, her estranged former best friend Brett, and Grace escaped their homes 20 years ago. Will she finally get the answers she's been looking for all these years, or is this just another dead end? So it says, suburban ghost story about a small town that has trapped 3 young women who must confront the past if they're going to have a future. It sounds weird, right? It sounds really weird, and I would like to read it. I still haven't read any of Gwendolyn Kiste's books. I think she wrote The Reluctant Immortals, which I have, and I'd like to get to. I would like to read her stuff, and I'm gonna start with this. So here it is. I've also got, I don't have the package yet. I'm waiting. I've checked like 40 times in the time I've spent filming today. I've checked like 40 times to see if the fucking package from Barnes & Noble with my MFing book has come today. But I'm also reading House of Flame and Shadow, which is the newest Crescent City book by Sarah J. Maas. This is a massive fantasy book about like a city and there is a rebellion, and I don't know what's going to happen next, but I want to desperately. So there are those. Also, I would like to pick up Watching You by Lisa Jewell. This is a thriller. I read her book Then She Was Gone last month, and I was like, oh my god. So here's the other book I own of hers, and I would like to read it. This is like really vague. I have no fucking idea what this is about. Really, it just says Melville Heights is a nice neighborhood in Bristol, England. It says it's not the sort of place where people are murdered in their own kitchens, but it is the sort of place where everyone has a secret and prying eyes lurk behind every curtain. So maybe this is the like spying in people's houses book that I was expecting from House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, to throw a little shade that I didn't get when I read that book. We'll see. I really loved Then She Was Gone. I thought it was so good. So I hope that this is also good. Then I'm also reading, if you would like to read this along with me, I'm going to be doing a full discussion, probably to be posted at the beginning of March. This is Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. This is a isolated horror. I do hear that her books are more on the, I think they say like cozier side, not necessarily low stakes, but I think they don't get super gory. I could be wrong. I haven't read any of her books yet, so I'm starting here. But this is about a tour to the Rocky Mountains that hits a storm, right? Like a walking tour, a hiking tour, I guess I should say. And they get confronted by a storm. Luckily, they're able to find a cabin where they're sheltering, but their tour guide disappears and they find him or her, I guess I don't know. They find their tour guide, whoever they are, outside and they are like, their head is impaled on a stake. So maybe like there is some gore. I don't know actually. What I said, disregard everything I've said. One can only assume that somebody in the tour has done this. I think, maybe, I don't know. So I'm really excited to read this. I'm really excited to read this, and I can't wait to find out what's gonna happen. Then for good measure, actually I feel like, I don't know, this is probably going to be a lower priority this month, because actually looking at my list, I'm like, oh, because I also have a jar pick. I will have a jar pick, and I will have something off my cart, and also a week full of, I don't know, but maybe possibly I might read If I Can't Have You by Gregg, Olsen, and Rebecca Morris. This is something I meant to get to like last year, or maybe even the year before, I can't remember. But this is a true crime novel about Susan Powell, who was almost certainly murdered by her husband, Josh Powell. Her remains have never been recovered. I mean, she disappeared. And no one is able to, like, with 100% certainty, like, say what happened. And so it's like, no one knows with 100% certainty, but like, her husband was a fucking weirdo creep loser, and Susan disappeared, and there's no reason she would have done that on her own. So I don't know. It's like one of those cases where it's like, it probably, if I could choose anyone, I would probably choose this one, like, to be solved and wrapped up with like a neat little bow, and have like all the little strings of like all the questions answered, and it all wrapped up nicely, and to know all there is to know about it. If there's one to pick, I would pick this. So I hope I can read this month. If not, maybe next month. But I do actually think maybe I won't get to it, because also I got, if you didn't know, I do a readathon in February called the My Bloody Valentine Readathon. This is based on the 1981, I think, 1981 or 1982 slasher movie My Bloody Valentine, which is silly and awesome. It's about this small town where these murders took place on Valentine's Day. Also, there's a mine. It's a miner murdering people because they brought Valentine's Day back, right? The kids in this town are like, why not celebrate Valentine's Day? And it turns out there's a reason why they don't celebrate it. And so, it's just wonderful and silly. I pick out 4 prompts. I will put a link to my announcement video down in my description if you'd like to watch that. But my 4 prompts, first prompt, I actually 100% borrowed from Books and Lala. The prompt is from her buzzword challenge for the year, and coincidentally also for February, it is to read a book with a positive word in the title. So I chose for this my absolute darling being the positive word. That's my choice for this. Whatever you choose, let me know. I'd love to see your TBRs and stuff like that. I'm actually going to, when I'm done filming this, I have some I need to watch. People who have tagged me in their TBR videos, which do that, I want to watch. So this is about a girl named Turtle who lives in the fucking woods with her survivalist father. Her mother is dead, and so she is really just like stuck with her dad, and she doesn't really have access to normal society, and she's able to have like a friendship with a boy who I think has like a semi-normal life, and I think also she's like trying to get away from her dad. So that's really all I know about this. That's all I want to know. My next prompt is to read a novella. So for that I chose Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. Another one, don't know much about. I just know that this is supposed to be like a book about a relationship gone wrong, a relationship gone bad. It seems like it's going to be dark and maybe a little bit romantic. Maybe somebody gets a little more than they bargained for. I don't really know, but Oh god, this cover is so fucking beautiful, and I'm really excited for what this has in store for me. Then the next prompt is to read a book by a Black author. For this, I'm reading Rootwork by Tracy Cross. This is about three sisters in 1889, which is really interesting. I can't remember the last time I read a book. Well, actually, maybe I read Red Rabbit. That took place around then. But this is about three sisters who are visiting their aunt in Louisiana, and their aunt does a little bit of root work. And at first it's like just kind of just fun things that wouldn't harm anybody per se, but then something happens to the sheriff in town, and it says something that will change the sisters' lives forever. So it seems like something bad happens. And yeah, another one that seems short and sweet, perfect readathon length. And then the last prompt is to read a book with a body part in the title. So for this, I'm going to read His Black Tongue by Mitchell Luthi. And really, I just know that this has something to do with like religion and the Black Plague. And those are two things that I think go really well together. And I don't know what to expect from this. This edition of it is actually like a collection. So I don't think I will read the whole thing, especially with what I have going on this month. But I for sure will read the novella, His Black Tongue. And ew, it sounds gross. So that is taking place the week of Valentine's Day. So that is the 11th through the 17th. I would love to know if you're going to join in, what you plan on reading. The link to the announcement is in the description. That has all the details, all you could possibly ever want to know about that. So make sure you watch that. All right, now for the moment I've been looking forward to. Maybe you've been looking forward to it too. I'm going to pick a star out of my TBR star jar. Last month I picked America's First Female Serial Killer, which honestly, not true crime as it as it labeled itself, and also I don't think that woman was America's first female serial killer either. So, but I read it. Okay, let's see. What's it gonna be? Come here, little star. Green. That's horror. That's horror, baby. I haven't picked a star of a book I've read already yet, which is kind of surprising. Ooh, I picked a Christopher Pike book. This is Die Softly by Christopher Pike. Let me grab it. Here it is. Okay, this is exciting. Let me read you the synopsis. This one sounds questionable. He might have photographed a murder. Herb just wanted to photograph the cheerleaders in the school showers. He planted his camera high in the corner where no one could see it and rigged it to a special homemade timer. He did this Thursday night, and he hoped by Friday night to have an exciting roll of film to develop. But a girl dies Friday afternoon. On the surface, it appears to be nothing more than a tragic car accident. But when Herb finally does collect his roll of film, he develops a picture that shows a shadowy figure sneaking up on the girl who dies, sneaking up on her with a baseball bat. It makes Herb wonder if the girl was dead long before the car accident. But unfortunately for Herb, he doesn't wonder if the murderer knows he took the picture. Is it because the murderer knows? So this will be exciting. Okay, and then next is my pick from my cart. I roll the dice, and my first roll determines what page of the my thing that I pick from, and then the second roll determines the book, because I have 3 pages. That's how many books were on my cart. So, first roll, 19, that is page 3. 4, Invisible Monsters. Okay, that's by Chuck Palahnuik. I never know if I'm saying his name right. Yeah, you know what's really funny? I noticed I bought this at my local used bookstore, and I noticed that the price tag for this is on both sides because it's like purposely, I think the person must have gotten confused at one point. So does this have a synopsis anywhere or not? We just don't get to know. Okay, here we go. She's a fashion model who has everything: a boyfriend, a career, a loyal best friend. But when a sudden freeway accident leaves her disfigured and incapable of speech, she goes from being the beautiful center of attention to being an invisible monster, so hideous that no one will acknowledge she exists. Enter Brandy Alexander, Queen Supreme, one operation away from becoming a real woman, who will teach her that reinventing yourself means erasing your past and making up something better, and that salvation hides the last places you'll ever want to look. It's been a really long time since I've read one of Palahnuik's books. I think the last one I read was Lullaby, and that had to have been probably like 6 years ago. So it's been a while and decided to do it. I mean, I put this on my TBR cart for a reason, because it's been a while and I, you know, did really like his books when I was reading them. I've read Haunted, Survivor, Choke, and Lullaby, I think. Maybe that's it. Is there one more? Maybe not. So, Invisible Monsters and Die Softly. Hopefully I'm not giving myself too much to do here this month. If I am, that's okay. I'll roll it over into next month. Or maybe not. That's okay too. Those are my books for the month. I would love to know what you have planned, or if you've read any of these and what you thought about them. Check out my link tree for links to my social media, my Pango account. I am purging my bookshelves right now. I don't have everything listed, but little by little I am getting shit listed. I've got sci-fi, fantasy, horror on there. Little by little I am getting rid of books that do not suit me any longer. So check that out. Anything you might need to know, it will probably be on there. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.